What's up, you beauties? Welcome to High and Wide Hockey's YouTube channel, episode 8 of season 8. I'm your host, Jim Icabone, joined as always by. And if you're catching us live on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and make sure you smash the subscribe button. You can't leave smash out. You got to smash it and hit the alert so you never miss a show. For all the podcast listeners out there, don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcast or Spotify so you're first in line when newest episodes drop. I have to apologize before we get going here, Jack. I did it again. I forgot to put the podcast out on Apple, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to your podcasts. So this week, you're going to get 2 episodes. I'm going to get them out tonight for tomorrow. So you'll have 2 hours worth of listening to us instead of the usual 1.
Hey, yo.
The other thing I want to get out of the way is that we have once again partnered with Fans of Philly for the upcoming season. If you have not gone over to their website yet, head over to fansofphilly.com. They're doing the California trip this year. They're heading out to Anaheim, Los Angeles, San Jose. Should be some good stuff from our fans, from our friends of Fans of Philly. So that's exciting stuff, at least for us. Let me get this off the screen there.
Ooh, Anaheim.
Yeah, that'll be a fun little West Coast road trip.
That's the return of the read too, right?
Return of the read. What's that?
When I do the read, I don't have it in front of me. I'm not ready.
Fans of Philly. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, sprung that on you there. But yeah,
right.
You know, we're not in regular season form yet. This is still the off season.
That's right.
We're getting it going. Preseason starts in about a month now?
It's like the 21st, I think. They play, was it the Islanders, I believe?
It's this month. Yeah. Oh, my God. We're 3 weeks away. 2 weeks for the rookie game.
Yep.
So, yeah, Flyers hockey right around the corner. Obviously, we're getting ready for football season. Fantasy season's around the corner. We're going to get some fantasy talk going, in the upcoming episodes. Once hockey season gets just a little bit closer, we'll sneak some fantasy talk in there. With this Flyers organization, there seems to be always something relevant to talk about. So we don't really have to make up too many topics, but what we're going to do tonight, because it is still technically summer, the dog days of summer, even though people are getting ready for school. As I mentioned, football season's around the corner, hockey season's around the corner. It's getting dark at 7:30 at night. We want to interact with you guys. We want to try something a little different. What do you guys want to talk about? Because usually it's us picking topics and, you guys chiming in. But what do you guys want to talk about? So I think if you look at the ticker there on the bottom, Super Chat picks the topic, put in the episode description, Super Chat picks the topic. If it's 99 cents, that's perfectly fine. But we just want to try to fire the Super Chat thing up heading into the season. We're trying to, take advantage of some of the tools that we have at our disposal here. We're trying to get on Twitch eventually. I mean, we could talk a little bit about that before we actually get ramped up with the topics. We're going to have some Zegras talk. We're going to talk Flyers goalies, Carter Hart, the guys that are actually on the team. We might get into the Twitch world, the stream world, things like that, stream some games. If you saw the thumbnail before tonight, you might have noticed the Hot Ones challenge. We're going to have Jack do the Hot Ones challenge coming up pretty soon here. Jack, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me is like, I could do that, no problem. Now that it's like in front of me, like, I guess we'll see. Because I've seen that show a lot, and I've seen some people handle it, and I've seen some absolute meltdowns. So,
yeah. So Jack and I have been kind of kicking ideas back and forth, but maybe you guys can help us out with how do you want to see this go down? I tossed Jack an idea. Like, what if we were watching a Flyers game? And I don't know, anytime JJ says high and wide, or maybe we place like 10, 20 bets, 10, 20, $1 bets throughout a game. And as a punishment, anytime a bet doesn't hit, we're eating a chicken wing or something there. But, we're just kicking stuff around, seeing how we want to do this. And we want to include you guys. How do you want to torture Jack? Basically, so let us know in the chat throughout the course of the episode here. So yeah, Jack, let's get to our topics of the night.
Let's do it.
Let's start off. So the NHL made an announcement today. Do you want to talk about the 84 game schedule and other things that were included in that?
Yeah, so I believe that there is still some discussions going on, particularly something that could involve the Flyers, but immediate implementation for the Flyers, or I'm sorry, for the NHL this year, that's not next year, is there's the first and foremost is, and it might not affect the Flyers, but new playoff salary cap. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but there will be some kind of salary cap going in to the playoffs. You can thank Vegas and Tampa Bay for this. There'll be no more LTIRing somebody the entire season and having his whole $9-10 million cap not count at all against the team in the playoffs. There will be some kind of structure in place starting as early as this season, so we'll all learn about it in depth together and see how it really works out there. So they are nipping. It's unfortunate because that's going to affect the trade deadline. So it is what it is.
I'm a little upset we never got to see the Flyers take advantage of that rule.
I know.
They just haven't even had a shot.
It really wasn't a problem until teams purposely started telling players, hey, don't get to surgery now. Hold off 4 months and then come back right at the playoffs. And that's exactly what happened in Tampa's case. All the jokes with Vegas adding like their top players, LTIR, and all the BS they pulled. You can't blame them. But when something like this happens because it was a loophole that was exploited, well, you're going to lose some fun at the trade deadline. There's not going to be as many trades going down because teams are going to have more hoops to jump through to find themselves cap compliant come playoff time. Excuse me.
I'm a big loophole guy. So if there's like a loophole in the rules that you can take advantage of, I think you have a good GM, right?
Yeah,
On the flip side of that,
some of the stuff's pretty obvious. That's but
on the flip side, as Flyers fans, we haven't had a chance to be burned by that. So at least for me, I'm kind of like, GM can figure out a way to find an advantage, go for it. But I think if the Flyers were in the playoffs and losing to these teams, I'd probably feel different.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of especially with Vegas fans, you're just jealous your guy didn't do it. I'm like, yeah, kind of. You're not wrong. But Tampa's thing bothers me because the second I heard he was hurt and he needed surgery. Kucherov, it was okay. Why isn't he getting surgery? And a month went by, and then 2 months went by, and it's like, oh, I know exactly what he's doing. I know exactly what's going to happen here, and it did, and there were zero repercussions. And here we are, 5 years later. So that was kind of like, all right, big eye roll here. But you know what? This is what happens. And to add on to that, there's limits and changes to LTIR itself, reducing the benefits to a team that receives LTIR. From the little reading I did do, it's like, say you have a player that makes $9 million and he's out for the whole season. I think if it's out the whole season, including the playoffs, you get $9 million back in your cap you can spend. However, if it's a player that could return, I think you get league average, whatever that is. So it's probably I don't know. It's a lot of players in the league, 2, 3, 4 million, depends. I don't know, somewhere in there. You'll be given that to play with until the player returns. So at least there are some changes there that we saw with teams, how they took advantage of all that. So they're at least attempting to fix the LTIR issue. There's no deferred compensation effective October 7th, 2025. I guess, is that a contract? Deferred compensation. I don't know if that's trades. Is that somebody's contract? How the Nationals tried to pay Harper until he was 70. They just pushed the money back, all that stuff. Maybe it has something to do with that. Restrictions on paper loans. I guess they make paper transactions, not actually making the AHL player come all the way to Philly and then go back out to Lehigh Valley, things of that nature. I don't know why that needed to be done. Restrictions on second-year retentions on traded contract. Second retention, is that if you retain? I don't know. I don't really know what that one means. I didn't read on that one. And finally, the one that is not, as of right now, it's no good, but it's AHL loans. And if the rule going around was going to be each team could have one player who's 19 years old forego the ECHL and play in the AHL. That, I believe, as of now, is not going to start this season, which affects the Flyers because that would make a lot of sense for Luchenko. Now, it's still in discussions, but it's looking like as of today, he's going to have to choose between the NHL and the ECHL, which is a damn shame. But they are working on that. They're negotiating it, but right now that starts next year. And, obviously the 84-game season, that also starts next year for obvious reasons. So a couple of updates there with CBA. I apologize. I did not understand what the restrictions on a second retention on a traded contract. I guess if you retain money and trade a guy, you can't retain the same amount of money if that guy gets traded again. It's kind of like your Ryan Johansson thing. Like he got retained money when he was traded from Nashville to Colorado and then Colorado to Philly. You can't, if he's making $8 million, each team can't retain $4 million, I guess, and have him be free for somebody, or you can only do a certain amount of money the first time, then it has to be maybe 50% less the second time, I guess, so some team doesn't wind up with a player for less league minimum or something like that. That's probably what that means. So yeah, just a couple of updates with the CBA there. The one rule that we really cared about this season, of course, isn't going to take effect this season unless somehow they come to an agreement, but it's not looking good. Wolf is just really screwing us. I don't understand. Like, I remember Travis Konechny got traded for a boatload. Teams that are bad in the ECHL, they trade, or the CHL rather, they trade like a boatload for these guys. Like Konechny got traded for like 4 first-round picks, a couple of second-round picks. And Wolf's like, no, we're just going to hang on Luchenko. We're just going to suck all year, but at least we'll have a good player. Like, it's just stupid. It hurts the Flyers. It hurts his development. Worried about him developing bad habits as he's there. I really hope he just makes the team, to be honest with you.
This is Luchenko?
Yeah.
So I have an unpopular opinion for this. Like he I don't want to say he's too good for the CHL yet. Because I'm not sure that he is. I almost would prefer that he would get traded to a better CHL team than I would have him play in the AHL. Now, I know the benefit of playing in the AHL would be the Flyers would have their hands on him. They would have their guys working with him, right? And I know Luchenko's fast. He can play. We saw him play 4 games with the Flyers last year. They didn't necessarily look out of place. My concern would be that he's still he's 19 years old heading into this year. His birthday was August 21st. Happy belated birthday. He's a smaller guy. I know we saw Michkov play in the NHL last year. I think Michkov's also a smaller guy. He's a little more beefed up. I don't have a problem with Luchenko playing another year in the CHL, but I don't know that I'm on the same like, oh man, it's a shame that he can't at least play in the AHL. That's just kind of my opinion right now. Obviously that could change, but it's like, let him tear. He didn't exactly tear up the OHL last year, 56 points in 46 games on a bad Guelph team. I get it. But maybe there's more benefit of, get him on a, as Russ Cohen was saying a week or two ago, get him on a better OHL team, and let him dominate. And then at some point throughout the year, you can call him up if you want. I don't think the Flyers are going to be making the playoffs. Let him be I don't know if he can be a late season call up or whatever they do. He's already signed. Did he already sign an ELC, Jack? Do you remember?
I think he
he
would have had to play in the NHL.
That's right. Okay. All right. So my opinions with Luchenko are, I don't know, it doesn't bother me that he can't play in the AHL. It's not that I have fear, but like we saw guys like Morgan Frost get banged up off, it's not such a big hit. Tyson Forster had shoulder issues playing in the AHL, and he's bigger than Luchenko. And look, this is not me wanting to make decisions for guys through fear, but I think I had a similar opinion last year. It's like, hey, if we don't have to put this guy in this situation yet, it's not a big deal,
I would agree with that last year for sure. For this year, where I agree with you is like I really don't want them to force him on the Flyers unless he truly earns it. That's with the Flyers. I don't want him going back to a Guelph team that's terrible. If he gets traded to another CHL, I just can't do it tonight. I don't know what it is. CHL team that is good or at least better, then that's fine. I can live with that. I would be totally fine with the AHL though. I think, yes, he is a little undersized, but he definitely stood out in the playoffs last year. He was definitely taking too many penalties, but he was really standing out offensively, and I would like to see him piggyback off of that. Now you'll have a coach down there that will be playing a similar system to the NHL, where Lappy's was completely different. The system that'll be down there now with Snowden will be the same here in Philly. That's huge for him, whether he's called up or just for next year. So I would love to have their hands on him now in that regard. And I think he showed me enough in the AHL playoffs where I think he'd be okay. I understand your concern, but it's just, it's the AHL. I know there are some guys down there who are career AHLers who could definitely hurt somebody. But where you're concerned with the AHL or my concerns with the NHL, they force him into the lineup. All of a sudden, we're like, maybe they even burn a year of his ELC, and they got to send him back to the CHL. And they did this with Lucas Pisa. Like they burnt the year and they still wound up sending the player back because they don't want to play him with Guelph. Guelph refuses to trade him for every goofy reason. They try to make it work here. He's just not quite ready. And then that's really like the worst case scenario. And I really don't want to see him in Guelph. He'd probably get lazy. You're the only guy there. You're not really playing for anything. You're probably going to develop some bad habits. I mean, it's happened before. Maybe not, but and I know you're saying he didn't really dominate, and he didn't. But he did have the stint here, and they always say when you have the stint at the NHL and go back, it kind of messes with your season a little bit. It's not an excuse, just it's one of those things. On top of not being able to play with anybody, it's like, what's he going to learn? What's he going to do? Like I'd rather let's move the process along. If he was good enough to make the team last year, whether you think was all torts, I think it was a little bit more than torts. I also think he shouldn't have made the team, but he had a hell of a camp. That fact remains true. Whether you felt he should have made the team or not, he had a hell of a camp last year, hell of a preseason. So ideally for me, the AHL makes the most sense, which of course this rule is going to screw that over. But again, we'll see what he does in preseason training camp, and maybe that'll things will be more clear where he should be.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I know that I come off as maybe the Debbie Downer here. I just worry that I wonder if people want him in the AHL because there would be the perception that if he's in the AHL, he's that much closer to playing in the NHL. And to me, that doesn't really correlate. It doesn't really matter if you're playing in the AHL. It doesn't mean you're closer to playing in the NHL. I like I said last year, I know it wasn't popular. I didn't think he was ready to play for the Flyers last year. And he got his 4 games, and maybe people saw that there was still a lot that he needed to work on. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they just want to play the kids kind of thing, which is fine. Everyone, can have their opinion. They're not wrong. But my opinion was that he shouldn't have been on the roster. And I'm kind of going to stand by that now. Like, I don't, CHL's fine. Like, I don't want to make this like a huge, like, I'm not going to die on this hill. Because if he plays in the AHL, that's fine. There's there's really nothing bad that's going to come from the AHL. He can get injured in the CHL the same way he can get injured in the AHL. I just don't know that I'm going to lose sleep over Luchenko playing in the CHL still. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he's if they say tomorrow they trade him to a better team, I'll feel a lot better about it. In the CHL, like I'll be like, okay, thank God. Because it just I don't think there's anything to be gained from playing in Guelph. We'll say that much. Yeah, I really don't. Maybe very little. If he gets traded to like somebody else like who's good and has like Memorial Cup aspirations or at least something like that, then I feel like there's a lot more to that. You can get ramped up for a playoff run.
Yeah, sure, a guy.
If
you're playing for a championship or something,
not just getting over every game, like So that or the AHL is just I know he's young, but the logical next step. And plus what I said about the systems being the same. But other than that, to me, Guelph is the worst case scenario. But anything else other than Guelph, except for him coming to the NHL, them realizing isn't ready, and maybe they even burned a year of his ELC, and then having to send him back. Those two are the worst case scenarios. Anything else, I'll take. AHL, better team in the CHL. I can't do it tonight. Or God forbid he makes the NHL and they stick with him for a while. I don't see that happening, but you never know.
Yeah. Okay. Let's before we move topics here, I missed out on some comments.
I was just gonna pull that one up. Russ brought this up last week, and it made it sound like yes, you want to keep a good from the Flyers' perspective, you want to keep a good relationship, but they kind of would normally put pressure, like, yeah, you probably should trade this guy. Like, what do you do? What is the point of keeping him? And I guess either they're not getting the offers, which seems strange, or they just aren't interested in what the Flyers have to say, which is kind of silly. So yeah. I don't know.
I wonder if the Flyers were trying to pull that last year by keeping him around for as long as they did. Because if he's playing with the Flyers, he's missing games with Guelph because their season starts, I think, way earlier.
And him going back, he's not going to be the same until a couple of games. So you're really missing a big chunk. And he didn't even play like 8 straight games to go back. They held him out of the lineup. He was here for like a total of 10 Flyers games. He only played like 6 of them. Right. So to your point, yes. And maybe that's how Danny rationalized it in his head to make Torts happy, because I know that Keith Jones is on record as being not a big fan of the 8-game stint. But yeah, maybe that was a tactic, and I just don't understand it from Guelph's perspective. It's just I see what these guys go for when they're probably going to stay with the team. They're probably going to do this, probably going to do that. We should probably get what we can for them now. And I guess they still could, but it's very odd that it's just nothing. They got nothing out there.
Yeah. Yep.
Teddy, we're talking about teams in the CHL trading for Luchenko. So he goes to a better team because Guelph is a joke.
Okay. 84-game season. The regular season could now start in late September. And I think I saw less preseason games. What are your thoughts on that, Jack?
I can't hate it. I mean, it's exactly when we first discussed it before. I'm like, if they take away preseason games and give us regular season games, like, I'm for that. More hockey is a good thing. We'll be starting a regular season at the end of September now. Like, and I read that's when it would probably start, around the end. That's great. Fantastic. As a content creator for the Flyers, that's even better. But yeah, more hockey is good. And I'm not saying make it 100 games or anything, but like, it's 2 more games. It's less preseason games. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Full steam ahead. Maybe Buffalo will get 90 points because of 2 extra games.
So
it'll be great. So I don't see the negative to this. Players are probably going to make more money because of it. Well, at least they can ask for more money in contract negotiations and whatnot. You seen the NFL add another game? Why not? More hockey is always a good thing. I think they said end of September, and the Stanley Cup should be handed out mid-June. I mean, we're almost at a full calendar year. We should keep working towards it.
Yeah, I'm against it. You know why?
2 games?
I think there's too many games as it is.
But you're playing 2 preseason games regardless.
Yeah, but I think 82 games or whatever preseason they're playing now, 6 like preseason games,
6 or 8, yeah,
82 regular season games. That's an insane amount of games to play the way that these guys are playing. Like, you're gonna, if there were less games, wouldn't they be more important?
Yeah, but it's more hockey. It's more.
But don't you want to watch? Don't you want to watch good hockey every night?
We've watched the Flyers, Jim. We haven't had good hockey in 10 years.
Well, I guess my point is, if you're a player and you got to suit up for 82, now 84 games, you're telling me you're going to give 110% all 82, all 84 games?
I don't think they do that. Very rarely do players do that now.
That's my point.
Well, I still think but it's still hockey. It's still games that count towards the standings. Somebody's going to give a lot. They're going to play. It's not like everybody's going to sleepwalk. There are 2 teams sleepwalk through each other. It's only 2 more games. It's not like 10 more games. And you would have had to suit it up and play these preseason games regardless. The only difference is they're saying, no, these are going to count. So these count towards your stats. Your stats
Yeah.
help you get paid.
I mean,
you get paid
preseason,
if you're paying more.
like
If you're
four
playing, hold on,
the preseason games are like you're watching like the
not anymore. You have
ECHL
less.
guys.
Not anymore. You have less, so they're going to get the top guys in there sooner because they're going to be like, yeah, we don't have time to play these guys who are going to sniff the NHL. Like Anthony Richard, I'm sorry, but he may get one game, and we're gonna go with our squad. Like we need to be prepared to go. And players
for your best players.
And players are going to ask for more money down the road because of this. It's technically more games.
So now you got them playing 88 games.
Well, some of the guys aren't going to play. You want to talk about sleepwalking? Preseason games. The guys trying to make the teams, they're going to be given 110%. But I think it gives more. It's better for younger players trying to make a push. Your depth players are going to be more important to you, and maybe even some of your call-ups as well. Instead of just like back in the day, remember the Flyers who went to the Cup? Do you remember who their defensive pairings were?
When the Flyers went to the Cup?
2010. It was Pronger and Matt Carl. That was the top pair.
Krychek on the team? I'm trying to think of third pair guys.
Yeah.
Lucas Krychek.
Exactly. Who was the third pair? They never played, Jim. They never played. It was like Danny,
I remember the other one.
Like, yeah.
Parent? Was it
Ryan?
What was his first name? Ryan Parent.
Ryan Parent. No, he went in the. We traded him for somebody. I think he was with the first round pick that got us Hartnell and team in his contracts. But it was like the guy you said and somebody I just said, I can't even remember. The point is nobody knows because Tiemann and Coburn were the second pair. The third pair they barely played. It's like Danny Severett or something, like somebody like that. It was just they never played. And it was like we got by with 4 freaking defensemen through an entire playoff run, most of the season. And it's like, and yeah, see, Mr. Switzer remembers. It's exactly correct. And you expand the season, you're going to have to use your whole team a lot more. You know what I mean? Can't just, and it's one example. It's very anecdotal. But my point is, it's been done. You can eliminate or play less players or that you don't need. If you expand the season, you're going to play your whole team, which is how it should be anyway. And you're going to see more guys that are
games.
What's that? Exactly. It's how I thought from the beginning. It's only 2 games. It's not
but they're not going to change their whole, who should we play for?
Well, if somebody gets tired or isn't, needs to take a break, then you just swap them out. Not a big deal.
My thing is I don't know if we're getting 82 games. To me is a lot of games. I know they're getting paid for it, but
it's been like that since the beginning of time, though. I mean, they've been playing 82 for a long time. I know they're bigger, faster, hit harder, all that stuff, but it's not that big of an issue. Football, I was surprised they added another game because those guys, they get hit and they're out. They're done for the year, like in an instant. Yeah. That doesn't really happen in hockey, and in baseball, it really is just pitchers with the Tommy John, but like in hockey, like nobody really, unless it's something that nobody knows, like the Ryan Ellis stuff and whatnot, nobody really is out for the year, really. Like that doesn't really happen. It's very rare, and they're doing a lot better stuff with concussions and whatnot. And like you said, it's only 2 games.
I get all the positive stuff. I'm just oh my God, more games. Like how many more we need here?
Look, I'm a.
Are we gonna get to 100 at some point or what?
Well, that's where I would probably be like, okay, I'm starting to agree with you. But like, I'm a purist, but this doesn't bother me too much as long as it doesn't get out of hand. So if you ask me, would I prefer 82 or 84? I'm like, just keep the game's good as it is. I don't have a problem. But more hockey, and it's also because they're taking away preseason games. If they just said, well, we're going to start preseason at the end of August or very early September and add 2 more regular season games, I'd have been like, yeah, okay, whatever. But the fact that they're taking away preseason games, I'm like, okay, fine by me. Like, all for it. It's not, I don't think it's a big deal. And your concerns, I believe, would be handled by what I was saying about using more of your depth and your younger players, and it's opportunity to give some of these younger players more of an extended leash and can see what they have and whatnot. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, ultimately we'll see. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. It is only 2 games.
What it really is every owner just gets an extra home game. That's what it is.
But the players get paid more too. They will. They're going to be justified in asking for more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more can you get for 2 more games. I guess we have Teddy comment here. Super chat. Thanks, Teddy. Add 78 games. Why not go 162?
I think we might have to see some double headers if we did that.
Yeah,
We had to
really.
have a whole second squad ready. The Phantoms would have to be the Flyers team B, and it would definitely go full year round, which I wouldn't be against.
See, I think I would be.
That would never happen. I'm only kidding.
I think I would.
That's
Dude,
a whole other
sometimes,
season, 78 games.
sometimes I'm even like, I feel, and don't take this the wrong way, but come April, maybe like the last year or two, I'm almost glad that the Flyers aren't in the playoffs because I'm dead.
Because you watch a
Burnt
lot of bad
out.
hockey. You watch
Like,
a lot of BS.
the traveling. I mean, only going to the game, but like, got a day job. You're driving a half hour to the game, getting home at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, especially when they have 7 home games in a row. Come April, sometimes I'm like,
Wait till they start winning, Jim.
playoffs.
Wait
Yeah,
till
I
they
know.
start winning. That's a be different story. You'll actually go to the games and enjoy yourself. Not have to write up another piece about how the goaltending let them down again and all the wheels came off.
Yeah.
It'll be different. It'll be different. More hockey's a good thing. 78 games. I don't even know when the playoffs would be. It'd be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2 more games. Let's just see what happens. They took away the preseason games. We're going to get their start of the regular season, what, a week and a half earlier? Just leave it at that. If it stays at that, I think you'll love it.
Yeah. Teddy, thanks for the super chat.
Yeah, beautiful. Interesting.
162 games. Speaking of 162, the Phillies, how the Phillies doing tonight? Big series against the Brewers.
Well, they won the first game. That was one of the best games I've seen all year.
Man, they needed to turn something around after that Mets series. That was rough.
They beat everybody but the Mets. It's unbelievable. And they get swept.
If the Flyers were good, I wouldn't care how many games. It used to be that way long, long ago in a galaxy far, far away. Mr. Twitzer, good seeing you in the chat, man.
Phillies are down 5-0.
All right.
End of the third. I wonder who started this game.
I think Aaron Nola.
He is a joke lately, man. Like, my God.
It's tough, yeah. Tough. Okay. Another big announcement this week. Well, it was announced, I think, months ago, but it was actually finished. The Flyers have changed. Their arena has a new name where it was the Wells Fargo Center. The string of, renaming the place after Banks has finally come to a close as it's been renamed the Xfinity Mobile Arena, Jack. Do you like the new sponsorship name?
Not at all. But anything's better than Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is the freaking curse, man. First year, we go to the Cup. We lose on one of the worst goals in the history of the league. And then it's been all downhill from there. Absolute joke. They're a horrible bank. They're the bank that gave me my college loans straight out of high school, and they totally boned me over. Like, oh, my God. I absolutely hate Wells Fargo. Hate everything about them. I hope they burn. So anything's better than Wells Fargo. That being said, what was it? Xfinity Mobile Arena?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds terrible. I don't like that at all.
XM Arena.
That sounds like a radio station. I don't like it. I should Edge Snyder Memorial Building or something like that. Comcast this or whatever. But Xfinity Mobile Arena, it's not terrible, but it doesn't do it for me.
I mean, they could at least do it for a few years before they knock the place down, I guess, right? Because they have a whole new stadium coming.
Yeah, elsewhere, right?
Arena.
Which I hate. Everything's
I don't
great
know where
right
it's
where it's at.
I didn't see that
Chinatown or something, right? That
Is it?
Well, I know the Sixers were talking about going there. Don't they usually share a stadium anyway?
I don't think they would anymore. I
well,
think
if the
they came to
Flyers
an
stay
agreement
where they're at.
I think they came to an agreement with the Sixers to stay. I don't know if that's dead or not. But the Flyers or Comcast announced an entire new arena coming. I'm not sure if they're going to share that with the Sixers. And I'm not sure where it's going to be. I have to go look that back up.
Let me just pull this up real quick. Occam Razor just brought up Matt Westergaard, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know what tournament he's in right now, but he just popped off.
Here we go.
I think he was like a 5th round pick or something like that.
Yeah.
And like he had some stats, baby. And unless I'm thinking of Matthew Guard. But I don't think Mr. Occam Razor would bring it up if it wasn't him. I'm going to try to look it up right now. Somebody was scoring some points, and Alexander Appleyard, who I I follow his prospect stuff.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, man. I mean, look, I know this is one of our guys. I love Alex, but a European guy, he's going to be sucking him off.
Oh my goodness.
That's what he's going to be doing, man.
I did, but
he loves the Europeans.
Well, I mean, he's the European guy. I mean, he's our.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, he's got the insider's edge. You know, we need him. We need him out there.
I know. I got a list of guys that he loved that I don't think ever played in the NHL.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, there's I won't say who, but there's certain people I've taken their stuff for our fantasy league, and I've drafted some like later guys, and none of them panned out. So it is what it is. However, a guy drafted that late, anything positive is good. You'll take it. You know, come on.
Sure.
So, all right, Jim is so disinterested. We're just going to move on.
No, I'm just saying, man, because I saw it on the timeline, and my first thing was, oh boy, here we go.
The second I pulled up the comment and saw you shaking your head,
I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it. I love Alex, but it's like, all right, let's pump the brakes here, Alex. You know, I know he's tearing it up in I think it was a Four Nations tournament or something like that.
I can't remember. I can't ever keep track of what's going on with that stuff. But you know, it's the one thing I do like Twitter for. Like, it'll show you some stuff that you never normally would have seen.
Yeah, I tell you what, this could be. We did a show on the 2023 draft. As you know, heading into this year's draft, the 2025 draft, we heard it was good for depth. For you know, I might have a B+ A type draft on our hands here, especially if Nesbitt can, you know, crack the NHL.
That's
and then the 4 second-round picks they had, if they hit on even 2 of those guys.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Vansagi and Amico. Like those two, I think are going to do something. And there's other guys I like too, like Murtaugh or Murtagh.
Matthew Guard could be a sneaky late second-round pick there.
Yeah, the second round was key. I mean, I love Porter Martone. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. Nesbitt didn't make sense to me, but you even heard Russ last week was like, yeah, he could very well one day maybe make the second line center. It's like the first line's not even close to. There's not even like a potential there. It's like I think his absolute ceiling is second line center. And Lyndon, I look, I'm the guy. I will eat crow and be happy about it. I truly believe that if the team is good and Nesbitt is good, I'll buy his jersey. I will. But as it stands right now,
how many points does Nesbitt have to score in a regular season for you to buy his jersey? 20
points. Yeah. Or goals.
20 points.
If he's our actual second line center and he's good, I mean, I don't know, how can you be a second line center and only score 20 points? He's gonna have to score like 60. Like,
oh my god, I don't know if he's going to score 60 ever. He's not
then you're not a second line center. There's no. We've been watching the Flyers too long. There are teams there are players on other teams where their second line center is potting 70, like it's points. Like, yeah, we don't have a first line center that we think certain things are acceptable. Like to be a true second line center, and I guess he'd be more on the defensive side, but he can't skate. Like, I just don't see it. I don't see it. His skating is bad. And when they saw him at development camp, his skating was still bad. He's a big guy. I get it.
If Nesbitt scores 40 points in a season, buy his jersey.
Fine. Write it down.
All right.
I'll do it.
Are you writing it down?
I'll do
it.
I'll get it.
Can't keeping track.
Can't skate yet. He's only played hockey his whole goddamn life, but he can't skate yet, which is actually kind of a thing, believe it or not. Look at the Strome family, you know, hockey family, and they struggle to skate. Yeah, you know what's funny?
That works here
about this comment by Ockham Razor bringing up Jack Berglund. If Berglund has the breakout, they kind of had.
He's been saying this for like a year too.
The mini breakout he just had. If he had that a year earlier, I don't even know if they trade up for Nesbitt. They might go else. I don't know. They definitely wanted to get bigger, and they accomplished that.
He's definitely on the underrated list there, Berglund.
Told you, see how to get skates that fit.
And I thought Occam was just kind of, busting our balls, trolling a little bit throughout the year, but he was serious.
No,
If
that
Berglund
skate
breaks
thing was
out,
real.
he had it first.
That skate not fitting thing is real, apparently. And maybe there is something to like not being able to skate till you get up here, because how could a guy play for that long with skates that don't fit? So we'll see.
Yeah,
Forrester's an okay. He went from being a bad skater to an okay skater, but he'll be always known for his shot. But you're not wrong. The comment's not incorrect. I don't know if I see Nesbitt. I don't even know if he's a 3C. Like, it's
the way I think NHL teams view the skating is it's something that they can help you get better at. Is what because what you hear about a lot of prospects is they need help skating. They need to be better skaters, and it's like, how do they need to be better skaters?
right.
And you're starting to see teams hire like these power skating coaches and yada yada, like micro skills. Even though skating is like a pretty big thing that you need to do, but they're hiring coaches for particular things, like a skills coach, skating coaches. And I know all teams, have this, but this is the first I've really looked into who's their power skating coach and this and that. And the way that I think teams are viewing it now, as long as he's got the IQ and, a decent skill set, if his skating is so, that's something that we can bring him up to speed with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right, because you can't teach hockey IQ. You really can't. Yeah. You can't teach speed, but you can teach skating to a degree. And maybe they can work with him. Maybe they can figure something else. Can't teach size either. And that's really what they drafted for. I'll tell you what, if Jack Nesbitt is an NHL player, like it truly is in any capacity, you got to hand it to Brent Flair. Like, I mean, he is really on the draft because I've already there's always one thing he does that baffles me, but like for the most part, he's been very good. And
he shot up the what's the NHL scouting thing that they come out with just before the draft there?
Like the list?
I think it's called NHL scouting.
Are you referring to Flair or
just for the league? They have their own NHL Central Scouting. Nesbitt flew up the NHL Central Scouting list the week of, I think, because of that big tournament that he had.
Yeah.
But he flew up those rankings, and I have to assume that like they must pay close attention and put a lot of I guess those rankings hold a lot of weight for these teams, maybe.
Some of the way the NHL does it is like I'll be reading a list. I'm like, oh, that guy's high. And I realize I'm only looking at North American skaters. I'm like, why did they do that? Let's give me the whole damn list. Yeah. But I think you're right, because I think they felt they probably could have got him at that later pick in the like early 20s, mid 20s. That would be amazing.
Are you drinking over there?
So he was accused of that earlier. I don't know if it's true or not.
So Malcolm said that Berglund is a poor man's Barkov. Hold me to it. Okay, I'm going to write that down just like I wrote down Jack for the 40 points. Poor man's Barkov. What does a poor man's Barkov look like? Jean Couturier?
Yeah. See if these guys can stay healthy too. Yeah, I mean, there were some prospect lists from like outside sources that came out, and they had Nesbitt ranked like high. And it was like, Mishkov's obviously not on the list, but it's like Martone's 1, Bonk is 2, or Luchenko. They're 2 or 3, depending on who you like. And I thought for sure like Alex Bump would be 4, or Zavregan. And they're like Nesbitt. I'm like Nesbitt, why? And they're like, well, the Flyers traded up for him. I'm like, that doesn't make him a better prospect because the team gave up 2 first-round picks and moved up for him. Like, what is your reasoning for him being like better than a goalie who's freaking out in Russia or a guy who's pushing to make the team? Well, he's younger. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm done here. Like, come on. You got to give me more than that. Like, tell me what you see in his skill set and what he can be taught to turn him into, because we're already out on top line center. The guy was drafted 12th. Like, I would hope that it would maybe be in the realm of his ceiling. And it's like, no, it's second line is probably it. And that's probably his ceiling. So we're hoping he absolutely hits his ceiling for a guy you give up 2 first-round picks to your hated rivals for. I'm sorry if I get a little upset about that. That's all I'm saying. I'm making it sound dramatic. I understand.
I'm not going to try to convince you to think any other way. You're allowed to.
If I'm wrong, it's like
you're allowed to have that opinion, Jack. It's okay.
Yeah, okay. Time will tell.
So Lyndon has a comment here that Nesbitt's going to have a big role in his team, and I've a lot of being able to succeed is having the opportunity to succeed. And oddly enough, there's a similar topic that I want to talk about at some point in the show with Mike Rupp and Matvei Michkov. But I forget who graduated from his team there, Lyndon. Do you remember who? There's a player that was really good for Windsor this year, and I think he's graduating to the next level, whatever team he plays for, and maybe Nesbitt's going to have a bigger role this year. He had 10 points in 12 playoff games last year, finished 64 points, 65 games. So he's due for that big spike. 18 years old, heading into next year, turns 19 January 12th. He's due for that big spike in point production. I don't know. Like we'll see here. Big body kid. If he can get the skating right, maybe the Flyers gave him an off-season workout schedule type thing. Who knows? Because look, we can say whatever we want. Jack, you're not crazy about it. I kind of find ways to justify it. And at the end of the day, it's 12th overall pick, and we're going to hold him to that. So, big year ahead for Nesbitt.
Time will tell. It's a shame because just naturally, I'm going to be extra critical if he has a rough season. If he has a good season, I'm probably going to find excuses. Hopefully, I don't do that. Hopefully, I call it.
It could be a topic of debate all throughout the year. So, if anything, he's giving us that with the 12th overall.
Hey,
pick.
well, look, once he's wearing orange and black, I'm praying.
I'm going to be rooting for 40 points. I want to see you walking around with a Nesbitt jersey, eating hot wings.
He's got a great first name. That's all I can say.
He does. All right. So speaking of similar topics here, did you catch that comment from Mike Rupp? I think it was actually last week this came out. In short, Mike Rupp didn't do his research about Matvei Michkov and came out and said something like he would like to see Michkov improve 5-on-5 instead of benefiting so much off the power play and yada yada. And look, he didn't say specifically that Michkov was a power play merchant and really soaked up a lot of his points with the extra man. But essentially, he said that in a non-dickhead way, to everyone who watches the NHL Network. And if you're paying attention, it's kind of like, you said that in a really nice way. You complimented him first, for playing well in his rookie season, and then went out of your way to say something that was completely and factually incorrect. Did you catch that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I saw the backlash, and I went back and looked. I watched the whole thing, and who was on with him?
Pat Maroon was on.
Pat Maroon, thank you. And he was all good stuff. He's like, you're watching Philly, you're watching Matvei Michkov. And it's like he felt like he had to say something. So he made up something on the spot. Maybe he was watching Montreal Twitter or something like that from a year ago and came up with some BS and just threw it out there. It's like, this isn't even factually correct. And his Twitter, he does interact with fans. He interacted with nobody when it came to him being called out about this because he knows he's wrong. He came up with it on the spot. He's a known Philly hater. And people like him for his analysis, but he's a known Philly hater. And he came up with it on the spot and he just blurted it out. And he's like, yeah, I'll just take my lumps. I don't care. I hate them anyway. And he's on the show. He had to say something. And he made himself look like an absolute fool in the process. So whatever, screw him. He hates the team. I don't like him. He was a fourth liner his whole career. Goal. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
And not the first time he looked like a jerk in front of Flyers fans there. Remember he did the Yager salute at the Winter Classic at Citizens Bank?
Such a moron.
Just an idiot. Yeah. So Lyndon 49, you said you missed that there. Put out a video, I think, yesterday if you want to catch up on that. But I just thought it was just a weird thing to go out of his way to say. And was Michkov great all season? 5-on-5? No. Remember that little lull in the season where he looked like he needed a break? Yeah, he looked like he was gassed out there, and who knows what it was. Maybe he wasn't getting along with the coach. Maybe he actually was tired. But there was a point in the season where it was like he's gassed. I
can't help but laugh. Like what Mr. Twitzer says here. You think about it. If you go over the last, I think it's 3 seasons, the Flyers are ranked 33rd in power play. That's worse than dead last. But yet Michkov was a power play merchant. Those two things don't even go together.
Yeah.
Like, he scored 63 points on the worst power play in the league. How does that even make sense? Like, it's so stupid and just created out of hate. That he
Well,
just
I was
looks like
kind
a
of
jackass.
where I was kind of frustrated was, to me, it's these guys kind of go after, maybe it's Rupp going after a Flyers guy, but they have no problem saying things about this, calling out the Russian guys, the Russian kids, because they're notorious for not playing defense, not getting back, not forechecking. All they want to do is score, yada, yada. You won't hear Mike Rupp say any of this about Macklin Celebrini, who I know he played in only 70 games, 63 points, which was the same as Matvei Michkov. But I think he scored one more power play goal and had like 5 more power play assists, and had the same amount of overall points as Michkov. But you won't hear Mike Rupp say that Macklin Celebrini needs to produce more 5-on-5. You know what I mean? Because he's a Canadian kid, good old boy, yada yada. So it's just a little frustrating that they kind of cherry pick. And the Calder vote this year, it didn't bother me that much at the time because I think everybody knew it was going to happen. They're going to pick the kid from the Canadians, scored 66 points, 60 points as a rookie defenseman, even though the majority of them came on as a second assist or whatever. The Calder voting should have gone Celebrini, Michkov, Lane Hudson. That Hudson won makes the award look like a joke, a popularity contest, in my opinion. It was kind of just like, 60 assists by a rookie, Calder Trophy. Plays for the Canadians, another reason, Calder Trophy. But you look at Macklin Celebrini, who, in my opinion, right now, I think there's an argument that he could be better than Connor Bedard. And you remember the Connor Bedard draft, Jack, where it was like second coming of McDavid, Connor Bedard, who, he's still going to have a very good NHL career. He could still be that guy. But right now, I think there's a really good argument that Celebrini's the better overall player than Bedard. So
as it is right now, yeah, for sure. Bedard needs a real nice bounce back season. So, but yeah, I mean, Celebrini looks like he's more than on his way. And if he doesn't get hurt earlier in the season, who knows? But yeah, I mean, come on, you got a defenseman scoring that many points, who's Canadian on a Canadian team. It's a slam dunk. Yeah. Forget it. Yeah, I mean, even if and when it comes to Michkov, even if you have Hudson winning, Celebrini's 2. Like Dustin Wolf was 3. Like Michkov should have been 3rd. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like he led all rookies in scoring. Isn't that an automatic? Like you're one of the candidates. Like that's the NHL for you. A bunch of clowns. The awards are always a joke. And it's like, I used to really like, once Giroux didn't even get nominated for like, what was that? Like 18, no, it was earlier than that, like 16, 17. I forget what year it was. We had to beat the Rangers. It was a win and in situation. And he scores a hat trick. He breaks the century mark for the first time in his career. And only one other player had over 100 points. It was like McDavid. And he doesn't even get nominated, let alone win. He doesn't even get nominated. Like once that happened, I was like, yeah, I don't really care about the awards anymore. They're such a joke. These writers are some of the most biased writers I have ever seen. And one of them said about Giroux that year, sorry to get off topic, but it was like, well, they had a 10-game losing streak, which they did. And it was like, I can't vote for a captain I was like, what the hell kind of comment is that? I don't care. You made the playoffs.
Maybe he's friends with Dale Weiss.
Maybe so. Because that was the most out. And they had a 10-game winning streak that year too. Like I think it was like Haxtell's second year or something. Mm-hmm. And it was like, how in a winner in situation, he scores a hat trick, wins the game. But your 10-game losing streak, oh, well, they lost 10 games. Like, what? What the fuck? I could not believe it. It just took away any kind of, like, hope or faith I had in the voting system and the integrity of the writers as a whole. And now I'm just like, yeah, you guys are clowns. I don't care. Whoever wins. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of where I'm at, too. It's just, it doesn't really matter. Whoever lifts the cup, that's all that matters. And one day,
yes,
maybe we'll be here still, Jack. Maybe we won't. The Flyers will be lifting that cup.
We're going to be here, Jim. And then I'm going to die the next day.
Yeah. I'm going to write that down.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right. We're almost 55 minutes into the show. Jack, we have to choose between two topics here. So I don't know if we have time for both. We can save one for next week. You want to talk Flyers goalies or Trevor Zegras?
Well, considering we called the episode "Will Trevor Zegras Succeed?"
Yeah.
I think we should talk about Zegras.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. So the question is, and this is for the viewers too and listeners, we are looking for 1 to 3 reasons why Trevor Zegras will be a success in Philadelphia. Put as many as you want in the comments. Jack, I'll go to you first. Trevor Zegras will be a success in Philadelphia because.
Okay, I have 4.
Oh,
All right.
let's go. Let's start with one.
All right. I'm gonna give you my like. I'll just go down the list. Screw it. He'll be successful in Philly because he sticks at center. Maybe his face-off percentage increases a little bit, but they find a way to get around that, whether somebody else takes the face-off and he naturally moves back to the position. He is defensively responsible enough at the position for Tocchet to keep him there. And most importantly, he dazzles offensively and clicks with his line mates, leading to a return of his point totals in his first 2 years, or first 2 full seasons in the NHL, were both in the 60s. Also, the 2 years he played center. After that, it was pretty injury-ridden, and he got moved to wing, which was probably the worst thing that could have happened to him. So if you know some of those things happen, he will stick at center. That will make him successful. We also need center big time. So if he's successful there, two go hand in hand.
Yeah, I think he needs to be center, and I think you need to take the bad with the good. I think he's one of those players where you need to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I hope that if you talk to Ducks fans, the ones that are reasonable, they'll tell you that him moving the wing was one of the worst things they did. They will tell you that his defensive, like his game, that was the one positive from last year, you know, and he was a little bit healthier, but still, I think he's played 88 games over the last 2 seasons, you know, and like 31 2 years ago. So like he's really had some rough goings, and it's tough to get into a groove. And then on top of that, you're probably like organizationally, you know, your GM's looking to trade you. You've been moved off your natural position for other players. Everybody hated the coach out there. You thought Tocchet was bad. Tocchet at least I'm going to do this for a while. You thought Torts was bad. Torts at least had some kind of clout. I don't remember the name of the guy that was their coach out there, but I do know that everybody hated him. So it was just a bad, negative situation out there. So I kind of alluded to it, but my second reason is he needs to stay healthy. And I already brought up that he's played 88 games and whatnot. He's getting older. He's going to be 25 in, I believe, March. So yeah, he's going to hopefully puts on some more muscle and grows into his man bod, which will help him stay healthy. And some of this will go into another reason. I don't think that's a given. Staying healthy, staying in the lineup, staying productive, staying in a groove, more time to click with your line mates. That all goes hand in hand. It also helps him stick at center as well. This one is a double whammy. I'll say if he clicks on the power play, he'll be a success in Philly because you need the power play to get better. Bringing in Zegras, one of the first things people thought was that he'll be on the power play and he'll help improve the power play. He'll be a direct reason why the power play is better. Clicks with power play players like Drysdale and Michkov. Those all go hand in hand. If he can click on the power play, make the power play better, his points totals will go up. Others' points totals will go up, including Drysdale. We're not afraid of Michkov. We know Michkov's a stud, but we don't know what we have in Drysdale. And having a guy like Zegras on the power play with him maybe brings out a little bit more in him. Plus, they're also buddies. You know, sometimes that can be a bad thing, but hopefully it's a good thing. If he contributes to the power play and the power play goes from being dead last to middle of the pack, and he's a major reason why, he will be a success in Philly. And my final reason, and it seems like it could be the last reason, but also could be the first, depending on how you look at it. He needs to click with the coach and the coaching staff and put the team first. There were rumors he wasn't the most well-liked teammate. Now, I haven't confirmed that, but there were rumors out there. And when you consider this guy was on track to be the face of the league, he was on one of the NHL games. He had 2 60-point seasons in his first 2 full seasons. maybe it could have gone to his head. I think he hopefully realizes now, based on what he says, that is the current vibe. That this season with Philly, because as I believe somebody put Occam Razor here, he needs a new deal. He will be a free agent after this. How he plays in Philly this year and how he produces will directly impact his trajectory of his career. He'll be 20, like I said, he'll be 25 in March. It's not like he'll be 30, but still, he'll be 25 in March. He's if he has a bad season, like he'll have gone from a could be top of league guy to we don't know what he is. Who's going to take it? Now, where's he playing next year? What kind of roles he have? Who's really giving him that much of a chance? So this is a big year for him, and I think he realizes that. And the main thing he needs to do, and that's the last little point on this list, is he needs to hit the ground running. He needs to put the work in. And I actually think Tocchet would be perfect for that if he's willing to understand his position and where he's at in his career and how much a guy like Tocchet could help him if he's willing to accept the help. If he does that and clicks with the coaching staff, and I think that'll lead to everything else besides maybe being healthy. If he can stay healthy, click with the coaching staff, stick at center by doing what needs to be done, and being key on the power play, those 4 things, he will be successful in Philly, and we may have our future center. I don't know if he's number 1, but a damn good center going forward, and that is huge.
Those are all great reasons. And I picked some outside the box reasons, because you took a lot of them.
Sorry.
Just kidding. Before I get to mine, though, let's go down the comment list here to see if anyone agrees with you. Dan's number 1 reason, Matvei Michkov. Number 2, no pressure to be the guy. And number 3, chip on his shoulder.
I love the last one especially. Like Michkov, we all love that when the trade went down. And I agree. There's no pressure for him to be the guy. There's a lot of other guys here. This is Michkov's team, really, or TK is how you look at it, but it's really Michkov's. And yeah, he should have a chip on his shoulder. He was jettisoned from his team after he was so good. He was already on the cover of NHL. Sorry to bring that up again, but it is a thing. To be that young and be put on the cover, and you're not like a McDavid or a Crosby or one of those players. That's impressive. And now you're being traded for peanuts. Like, think about that. Peanuts. Yeah, that puts a chip on your shoulder. That gives you a reason. It's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. It's a chip and it's a wake-up call. It's like, wow. First off, screw Anaheim. Secondly, if this things don't go right for me here, what do I have? So, yeah, that's huge.
I like Peter's comment here. He's motivated, and motivated players play defense. Skills top end. We're going to see.
He's right, though.
Look, I'll have to see it to believe it with Zegras playing defense.
You're right. See it to believe it ultimately is there. But if you're a talented player, you know how to play defense.
I don't know if I agree with that, honestly.
Not like the position defense. Like sometimes a talented offenseman gets caught back and looks out of place. I'm saying because to play defense from an offensive perspective is just effort. It's just being there. And it's not just effort on the ice. It's in the tape. It's in the film room too. But I'm saying, like, a lot of these guys coast, and that's their biggest issue. They coast when they don't have the puck. If you just don't coast and you do what you're supposed to do, and you're positionally there, you don't exactly need to run anybody over. You just need to be in the way. You need to be a gnat. You need to be on top of them at all times and make their lives hell. And that's not hard to do. If you're a talented player who knows how to skate, knows where to be where they need to be and stay on somebody, you can do a lot more damage just by being there than being, I pickpocketed them, I stole, or anything like that. Sometimes some of that shit leads to penalties. So as long as he shows the effort, it'll go a long way.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But yeah, seeing is believing.
I'm not saying let him get caught on a 2-on-1 when he's the only man back. That's not what I'm saying.
I just don't know if I buy that I'm going to see a 2-way Trevor Zegras this year.
That's fair. That is fair. That's where the chip on the shoulder thing comes from. And it's like, he better have one. He said
he might have it. What if I said he'll have that chip for like 10, 15 games and then go back to, because you get comfortable.
Yeah.
Of course you're going to be motivated, brand new team.
You're right.
Then, doesn't that kind of fade off? So you are who you are kind of thing.
It does, but that is up to the coaching staff to snap him out of that. And whether he's receptive to it or not.
There we go. So that brings me to my, I was thinking this, like, at some point, I wonder if he kind of gets the Patterson treatment from Talk, because Talk, it's going to be new. So I'm not saying he's going to be like laying down the law, making examples out of guys kind of thing. But once he gets, Trevor Zegras at his absolute best, and let's say Zegras gets comfortable at some point during the year, you start to see the little warts in his game show up defensively. Do we see him get benched kind of thing? I just am curious. Like I said, seeing is going to be believing when it comes to Trevor Zegras playing defense. Like, you're not going to sell me on Zegras is going to be a two-way player because he got traded to the Flyers. I'm not buying that. You know what I mean? But I'll take 65, 70 points
I'll
all year
never
long.
say he's a two-way player. All right.
Yeah.
I'll say he does enough to stay at this center position, and a lot of that might be Danny being like, talk. He needs to play center.
Right. He's going to have some kind of a leash.
We don't have a center. He's not going to be Sean Couturier out there. Understand that. Just make it work, please. Yeah. He'll get every opportunity to play center. And like I said, when things start to go south, or his effort isn't there, or he's making, some bad plays, he's going to, it's not that crazy of a comment, unfortunately. But every player is going to have lulls. And it's whether the coaching staff can get him out of it. And that's part one of it. Part two of it is if he's receptive to the criticism. And I think he's more likely to be now than before, because he got traded cross country because he wasn't up to snuff. A lot of that was the injuries were definitely a thing. They had some tumultuous contract negotiations out there, like Drysdale too. Like, there was some real negativity that came out of those contract talks, and they begrudgingly signed those deals like right before the season started. And I think both players wound up getting hurt, and not because of it. I'm just saying. And it's like, there was a lot of negativity out there. They hated the coach, and I'm not putting it all on everything but Zegras. Zegras is 100% mostly to blame here, but he's in a much better situation. He has to realize, one, this is my second chance, and from where I was to where I am now, I need to make this work. 2, I'm with an up-and-coming team with studs. 3, I have 2 of my friends on this team in York and Drysdale. If there's any place I want to make it work, and the Flyers got the money to bank to give me a bankroll here, if I make things work out and they need a center, like, every freaking box makes sense for him to want to make things work here before anywhere else. And you got the chip on the shoulder. It makes way too much sense for him to give it his all. And he's been saying the right stuff. What we've been hearing around him and the team it's not all hearsay, what he just team speak. Like, he's actually going to do this. Now, ultimately, stats and time will tell. It's a results-based business. But so far, I will say so good. We're about to find out. We're about to start seeing him soon. But turning this rebuild around, it could have a lot to do with this season with Zegras. It really could. I know a lot of people are kind of like, he'll be okay or he'll suck. If he even sniffs how he was his first 2 full seasons in the NHL, and because he can obviously only go up from there, like, we may really have something here, because him and maybe even Drysdale, but especially Mishkov, could be very, very, very good.
That's for sure. All right. Before we wrap up, I'm going to give 3 reasons why Trevor Zegras will succeed in Philadelphia. You ready? Outside the box?
Outside the box.
Number 1, he's back on the East Coast, originally from Bedford, New York. I don't know where in New York that is. It sounds like it's more north. But back on the East Coast, closer to his family. It's got to imagine family going to be at more games kind of thing, blah, blah, blah. Makes a player feel more comfortable to be in the time zone that they grew up in, all that good stuff. So maybe some familiarity is there, yada, yada. And speaking of familiarity, reason number 2, he knows guys on the team. Good buddies with Cam York, Jamie Drysdale, help him to accommodate to the organization, show him around the locker room kind of thing. He's not just there, meeting all new people. Because look, these guys don't know everybody when they switch teams. It's kind of like, hey, you're the new kid in school kind of thing, and you hope that they welcome you and make you feel at home, yada, yada. But yeah, he's got Drysdale, York, I think somebody else too, but I can't remember. The reason number 3 why Trevor Zegras is going to succeed. You ready for this one? Sean Couturier. I think will allow Zegras to succeed. You know why? He's got someone to take those dirty defensive minutes, right? You don't need to throw Trevor Zegras out against the other team's first or second line. You can throw Sean Couturier's line out there, let Couturier focus on defense, and maybe Zegras even helps Couturier out a little bit because the Flyers don't have to depend on Couturier to score like a first, second line center. You know what I mean? So if Zegras is doing his thing, maybe that frees Couturier up to do his thing and, just focus on playing solid defensive hockey. And vice versa. Maybe Couturier taking the bulk of the, defensive shifts, yada, yada, will allow Zegras to succeed offensively. So I tried to think of an outside the box third reason there. And a player that I would like to talk about, on a future show is Sean Couturier, Jack. With no more Tortorella, we know that there was bad blood there for almost the entirety of his tenure here between Coots and Torts. When Torts left, we almost saw a rejuvenated Sean Couturier. And I'm wondering, like I said, this is something we can put on the topic list for a future show. If we see that carry into next year, and, what kind of point totals could we be expecting from a rejuvenated Sean Couturier? This would be his third season coming back from a few back surgeries there, I think. New head coach and Rick Tocchet, a renowned players coach apparently. So I'm interested to see what they could have in Sean Couturier next year.
Yeah, that could be a whole conversation within itself. He was good overall last year, even before Torts was fired. Like I saw, maybe there's something there. Maybe he's figuring it out. He's definitely not the Couturier of old, but much better than what we had seen. So there's something there.
Yeah, hopefully it keeps going there. Okay. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Anything last minute you wanted to toss out there?
No, I
think we covered a lot.
I'm preparing myself for these hot wings. However we want to do it, I'm prepared. Right. So let's do it.
That's right. If you missed the beginning of the show, we're going to do a Hot Ones episode. If you guys haven't seen the show Hot Ones, it's the show where the host sits down with a guest, yada, yada, and he asks the guest questions while they eat the hot wings. We're going to put our own spin on that somehow. Jack and I are still kind of figuring out a format, but an example would be, maybe we're watching a Flyers game. We put, let's just say 10 bets on the game, and every bet we lose throughout the game, Jack will have to try a wing with a hotter and hotter sauce as the show goes on. So we'll figure something out that we'll nail down. We want to include you guys in it. So while you're watching this, drop something in the comments, give us some ideas, and we'll get going with this. But it's something that we've been talking about for a few weeks, and I think it'll be a fun thing.
I'll just add another thing we're considering is some key words that could be said by Jim Jackson during the game. Some of the more common phrases might be a lighter sauce, but some of the more outlandish ones could be like the hottest sauce. For instance, high and wide will probably be a pretty hot sauce. We'll probably hear that, but that's the name of the show. So I got to obviously, this could be worse than Hot Ones, actually, if these things are said multiple times.
Yeah,
but
sure you want to do that.
But power play goal, that
should be fun to watch.
If he says a power play goal scored by the Flyers, that'll be the hottest sauce right there. I'll have to bite something. So
that's a good idea. Yeah. See, we're getting somewhere already.
The post or, major penalty. We're trying to think of ideas. So if anybody has some commonly used phrases by Jim Jackson and maybe not so commonly used phrases, send them our way, because we get enough. We might put a phrase with a certain temperature of wing. And was there like 8 of them, Jim?
I have to double check that, but
6 or 8,
something like that. If Jack Nesbitt scores a goal in the rookie series,
okay, all right,
hottest sauce,
yeah, done.
We could do the Hot Ones challenge every show.
Jack Nesbitt. I will do it for the. Is he officially playing in the rookie game? I hope so. Right.
I'm not sure if the roster.
That's in like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
All right, we got time. Well, see, we're just brainstorming here, so we love our chat. We love everybody who watches the show. So by all means, please, we're all open to suggestions, and I'm sure we'll come to some kind of understanding and figure it out. But we're doing it. Stuff's ordered. So
It'll be fun.
it's happening.
Yep, that's for sure. All right, we're going to wrap this episode up. We're a little bit over an hour here. Thanks,
Done.
everybody, for tuning in. If you enjoyed our episode tonight, make sure you hit that subscribe button already. Help us on our quest for 2,000 YouTube subscribers. I think last time I saw we're at 1,550, something like that. So we're getting there. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed thus far. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that for us, please. Like and leave a comment for us on YouTube. You could also do that on Apple Podcast or Spotify and set alerts so you're the first to know when we drop a new show. And don't forget, we're going to be releasing 2 episodes this week, last week's and tonight. So you have a double header of podcast episodes to listen to. So that's going to do it for tonight. Until next week, don't forget to keep it high, keep it wide. We'll see you next time on HW Hockey. Good night.
Good night.